Hello everybody, Spirit Gaming here, and today I will be talking about the core and stat builds on Blade Master. As you can see, I switched my class. This is my second time switching a class. At first I was actually a Blade Master when I started, and then I switched over to Soul Dancer, and now I am back on Blade Master. I'm using the same build as I'm using in as a Soul Dancer, which is 9 water, 2 fire, and 5 earth core. It is working pretty well for Blade Master as well, because AP and actually also cooldown reduction isn't really that bad on Blade Master. Basically, with the cooldown reduction, you can always have the super armor. Yeah, obviously I don't have enough to make it permanent, but maybe with some talents like the talent Wind and Moon, you can get actually permanent even with lower cooldown reduction. But I feel like if you get around 20,000 cooldown reduction, then you will be able to have it permanently. And that's why there is actually I am gonna talk about 3 actual builds for Blade Masters right now. So the first one is actually my build, the cooldown reduction, tank, a bit of damage, basically overall average. You will do a lot of damage, you will tank quite a bit, and you will also be able to spam your abilities more. It is a pretty okay build. I'm finding success with it. Also today is actually the event for Training Arena 1v1, which I'm probably gonna make a video about it, depending on how much pay to win players I get or I don't. It all depends on my opponents that I'm gonna get, because if I'm gonna make a video about it, I want it to be good. So this is the first build I'm gonna talk about, the 9 water, 5 earth, and 2 fire build. As I said, it's overall average. This build can do everything, and after a while, after you get a lot more cooldown reduction, it's gonna be one of the best builds there are. For stats, you would want Constitution and Insight are the best ones. Strength is okay as well. It gives 2 AP and a bunch of damage, but doesn't give you much health, and that's why. Plus, I am a Soul Dancer, so I do have a lot of Insight as well, because of the 9 water gems. So you would want those two stats. As I said, you want AP and physical attack, which is very good, and also cooldown reduction. Any of the defenses are good for you. HP is also very strong on this build. For the next build, I am gonna talk about the 9 fire, 5 water, and 2 wind build. That's another really good build, because you do have the maximum amount of AP you can get as a Blade Master in terms of core, because only the 2 only the 2 gems give you AP, and that's the fire core and the water core. You will get 4 from water gems and 2 from fire gems, but that's the max amount you can get from CORES, and that's why it's a really nice build even for later in the game. Although, as I talked about in the last video about my Soul Dancer builds, this build is not the best later on in the game. And then for stats, you're gonna want physical attack, AP. Cooldown reduction is okay, but it's not a must. You don't need it the most. Then you're gonna want strength, constitution, and insight. Dexterity is very nice as well, which means Motor Strike does work well with this build as well. And basically you just want to build him as damaging as possible. So any damage stats are gonna be really nice on this with this build. And lastly, I'm gonna talk about full tank build. As you can see, tanks are getting used more and more, especially with the new bronze dungeon that came out at level 80. For the easiest way to beat it is going with 2 tanks. So tanks are pretty useful and are getting useful, more and more useful now. And that build is gonna be the 9 earth, 5 water, and 2 fire build. You do get a bunch of cooldown reduction in AP, but your damage is really low, and you kinda need the damage to do solo content, but not really, because AP stacks well with some talents, and not just talents, but also deep talents now. And later on in the game, AP is gonna be way more beneficial than physical attack, only from the one that you get from the fire gems. So water gems are gonna be better later on in the game, and for now, if you do have, let's say, 9 fire and 5 earth, and you just wanna go as a full tank, you can actually transition and switch those 2 numbers up without the need of too many gems. And also I'm gonna talk about right now about some talents. So I haven't prepared them right now, so I will be doing them as of right now. So Excited is the best tank talent out of all of them right now. It reduces incoming monster damage by 50% and increasing hit dealt to monsters. Auto reduces own damage by 40%, and Diamond Realm effect is greatly increased. This is not a very nice PvP tank, but as a PvP tank, because it's basically useless and you just get your damage reduced by 40%. But for dungeons, especially for bronze, this is a must-have talent. If you wanna go with, let's say, the what should I call it, the PvP. If you wanna go with PvP and you're a tank, you're gonna want the talent. Let's say Heavy Strike is good. It's not bad. Increases your damage, but if you're going tank, as I said, 9 earth and 5 water is gonna be better, and you're just gonna have quite a bit of AP. Which means this is the correct talent for the C tier as a tank on PvP, and as a tank in PvE it's Excited. Heading on to the B level talent, I always get this talent unless I'm just fighting a boss, which I'm gonna change, depending on the situation I'm in. But for every PvP and for every mob, every PvE dungeon that has a lot of mobs, I'm using this talent. And if you're going against bosses, I recommend either getting Fury or a New Life. New Life is good if you don't want to take more damage because of Berserk, and you just want to do damage, help you a bit. So this Wind and Moon ability is gonna be the best, and is one of the best for Blade Master overall. Next up is the A level talents. So you're gonna want, I use Rakasha Dance because it's more of a support kind of ability. It stacks on the target you hit. It gets if you do damage to him, you're gonna do 5% more damage to him, and stacks up to 3 times, which is 15% more damage. And also you will get super armor. Then cherry blossom snow. Each detonated cherry blossom increases Inferno Beauty by 15%, stacks up to 3 times. I don't really use it. Trigger Wayne increases damage. I don't really care about damage for the tank build, so Raksha Dance is the one I'm going with. And now we have the S level talent. Nuraku is really good if you know you're gonna die, so let's say the frog's on bronze level, you wanna equip this talent. It's really good if you actually know that you're gonna die and use this talent. You're just gonna basically kill the frogs, and that's the only way I have killed them as of right now. Without this talent, it's just impossible with my build and stats and rating. Of course, I am free to play. So next up, as I said, you want Naraku if you know you're gonna die. Then Dragon Lord's Wrath. Power of Dragon Blood is increased as HP is lost, with maximum bonus at 50% HP and below, granting 20% increased movement speed, 10% increased dodge, and 20% damage reduction. For a tank best build, this is the best one you can get for both PvP and PvE. As I said, if you know you're gonna die, you're gonna want Naraku, and for a tank, you just want this one. So this is the PvP, I guess, side with the build, and for the PvE, it's just adding excited. Then for the DPS build, you are gonna want to go with this one right here. Heavy Strike increases skill damage increased by 20%, including those skills that are named right there. Wind and Moon, I would recommend using it. It's just a really good ability, but if you don't really care about dodge rate and things like that, you would want to go with Fury. You can go berserk without using the ability, so it's a really nice one. This is for, as I said, DPS build. Next up, you would want Moon Shackle, and in the end you want Izanami's Dance. This is the DPS build, and for the build I'm running right now, which is half DPS and half tank. Now with Soul Dancer I didn't do this as much, but in dungeons I change the build for every boss in bronze, let's say in bronze. So I have a couple of different builds, but it's basically on personal preference and just understanding your game and what you want to fight against. But genuinely for PvP, I am gonna use this one right here, Blossom Dance, because it ignores target armor based on player's AP level. So the more AP I have, the more I reduce his armor, and I'm running 9 water, so I have quite a bit of AP from that. For the B level talent, as I said, I'm always will be running Wind and Moon unless I'm fighting a boss that I shouldn't let him hit me. Then here I am running Raksha Dance again, and as I said, for let's say frogs and you know you're gonna die, you want to go Naraku, but if you don't, then Dragon Ward's rate is really nice. But let's say you wanna clear the mobs faster, you're gonna want to Izanami's Dance. So this build with the 9 water and 5 word build is just amazing for me. I think personally is the best one out there right now. Many people could argue with that, but I feel like later on in the game it's gonna be even better, and fire gems just fall off later in the game, while water gems are just better overall later. And yeah, guys, that's about it. If you enjoyed, leave a like. If you have any questions, just say them in the comments, or I'm pretty active in the Discord, the official Dragon Raja Discord, so if you have any questions there, you can post them there. And yeah, guys, as I said, thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.